All right, so that should have popped up there. Okay, so the recordings are out there in case you can't make it to the live class. So what happens is afterwards, I take them, I post them up on YouTube, and then the links will be available in the class. I'll show you where those are. And so one of the things with the live sessions, that does not make your attendance. Okay, that gives you the ability to ask questions. And in the live sessions, that is your actual lecture. It is on Monday nights only, so it doesn't tie up your whole week. It's 7 o'clock. Doesn't matter if you're AM or PM, that's the only time it is held. Okay, so that is for everybody. The other thing is those videos, you can watch those at any time once they're recorded. It does take a while for YouTube to process those and for them to make them available on the channel. Usually they're there about somewhere between, I would say, before 9 o'clock, but sometimes not that much earlier. It all depends on the speed of YouTube, okay? And so that is the big thing there. How you will gain attendance is by completing assignments on time, okay? If for any reason you should miss attendance, unfortunately, that can't be made up. Assignments can be made up. I'll get into that a little bit more, but attendance is one of those things. It's not like you can make that up. Think of it as on a campus. If you miss that day, we can't turn everybody back. You know, don't listen to Cher where she says if she could turn back time. You know, we all know there's something weird going on with her, why she don't age, and that. Hint, it's plastic, okay? In case anybody hasn't figured that part out. Uh, we can't turn back the clock and give you attendance for a day that's missed, okay? But I try to work with people as best I can. I do have restrictions that I have to follow, but I try to be very, very pro student. So if there's a way that I can work with you, I will, okay? Now, I kind of jumped in without properly introducing myself. I am Mr. Haley. You can call me Mr. Haley, but some people call me Mr. H. Some people call me things that I'd rather not like to be called, but that's okay as well. Just don't do it on camera and certainly don't type it in the chats or things, or we had to have a whole different conversation, all right? It's okay to have fun in class. Keep everything respectable just like you were in a live class. Anything that you type for answers in the discussions, things like that, this is a college, okay? And like that, try to make sure that your responses are actual sentences. We get into the habit of texting on our phones, things like that. Uh, we need proper sentences, okay? So try to do that. Keep things on the up and up. Everybody good so far? Looking for emojis, anything that says perfect. Thank you, Kevin, there. And so that's the way things go. Anytime you have a question, you can text me back on that number that I text out. That is a real person. That is me. You know, if I sound robotic, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, that is I. I am a nerd, but I do all kinds of things. I am 3 days older than dirt. Don't say 2 days. I am 3 days older than dirt. So I have done a lot of the careers we teach here. Okay, I have 11 and a half years at Electra General, which, if you've been to Gainesville, you may know it as Shands Teaching Hospital. They overtook that hospital there. So I've had a lot of experience there. I've worked with big trucking. I did all the stuff in the shop as far as keeping track of all the inventories, making sure all the mechanics had everything they need, make sure all the weld shops, everything had all the parts, supplies, things that they need. That's why I know why these programs are so important, making sure everybody had everything they needed to work. Okay, so I had all that. Electrical, I can wire things of that, but not on the professional level where I would say hire me. Not necessarily the best idea. If you've never seen a ceiling fan where the blade stood still and the housing spun around, you haven't seen me wire a ceiling fan. I don't always get it right the first time, but I have wired this smart house so you can control everything. So I do have experience. I'm just not a professional electrician. We do have vet assisting students that do make it into this class. I do have a 501c animal rescue. I work with native wildlife, so I do work with Florida panthers. I do work with bobcats. I work with our native large cats. I work with every species of birds of prey. So right now, I don't have any hawks or falcons or owls in this room with me, but it's not uncommon for me to have those. No, I do not have eagles. Just so you know, eagles are always on loan from the federal government. You do not own eagles, even when we are rehabbing them. So I do a lot of that. So I have experience there. HVAC, I'd rather not deal with HVAC because HVAC always costs me a lot of money. So HVAC, I won't pick on y'all. I just appreciate y'all very much. So the point that I'm getting around to is every one of you in here, all your careers are linked together, and you will use computer systems in some way, shape, or form, either on tablets or laptops or desktops, etc. And you will use them in all kinds of ways. In this class, will you be programmers? No, you're not going to be learning programming. What I want you to have is a working knowledge, okay? And am I looking for perfection? No, I'm looking for willingness to learn, willingness to reach out because I want you to have the basic skills so that when you go out there, you know what you know and you know what you don't know. Something that's very important in all your careers. If someone comes up and says, do you know how to do this? I want you to be honest at all times in your careers and say, yes, I know how to do that, or no, I don't, but I'm sure that you can show me and then I'll be able to do that. Okay. Willingness to learn will move you in your careers. All right. I want you to realize that willingness to learn. If someone comes up to you and says, hey, I want you to learn how to do this, how many people know this person? You always see this one. Will it get me more money? How many people have seen this one? Will it get me more money? Okay. I can tell you right now, coming from the other side of the table, no, it won't get you more money. As a matter of fact, it probably will never get you asked to learn something else again. Those opportunities will become less and less. Okay. Here's an incredible secret. Yeah, right. I've seen it over. Here's an incredible secret. Take the education. Take that free education. Now, if they don't give you more money afterwards, you know what? You've got another entry on your resume. What does that entry on that resume get you? More money. If they won't give you the more money, somebody else will. You will get the more money and you got the education. So, yes, you will always get more money with that education, either from them or somebody else. And if they didn't give you the money, you don't want to be there anyway, but take their education every time. Okay, got that? Take their education. Because how many people have heard the phrase, that business is only in it for money? Anybody ever hear this? We hear this all the time. Yes, they are. You know why? They're a business. And what's the purpose of a business? To create income. Businesses either are making money or they're called what we like to say out of business. You are a business, so work as a business. You want your income. How many people like their income? I love my money. I really do. I like my Lamborghinis, I like my Ferraris, and so I just disguise them as a Kia Soul so nobody steals them. And so the point is, you need to look for yourself to advance yourself, and that includes your career all the way through. What you're going to learn in this class, these are skills. People aren't born with skills. Skills are learned and improved over time. You're going to learn some stuff. Some of this is going to be things you may have known. How many people have taken computer courses, some in junior high, high school, things like that? Depending on your age, depends on where the classes may have hit you. And some it's all new. But you're going to learn things that you may have seen or may not have seen, but everybody comes out of here learning something. What I want from you is the promise you're going to try. And if you get stuck, reach out to me. Do not bang your head on the table unless you're listening to really good heavy metal music, then that's understandable. I can get behind that. It's like I love my Judas Priest, my Iron Maiden, my Ozzy, rest in peace, and all the classics. Okay. I've been backstage with all of them, and no, I can't tell you what happened because I like having a job. Okay. All right. So we're going to do this. If you get stuck on something, reach out for me. If something is due and you are stuck and you're waiting on an answer from me, I'm not going to penalize you for anything. You're waiting for me. That is not your fault. I don't penalize people for class. I don't penalize people for assignments. The idea is to learn. Okay? All right. So here we go. We're going to start things off with screen sharing here so you can see what's going on. And we're going to work things through. All right. So this is your main page. This is your home page. This is where everything happens. Okay. Now, if you're looking for your student emails, boom, right over here on the left-hand side, see where that says inbox? If you click on that, you can check your student email right there. So if you forgot how to get to your student emails, boom, right there, that's a place you can check, just so you're aware of that. Okay, so when you're looking on what to do, things like that, there's pretty little to-do list. Do not try to launch assignments from here. You will get an error message. I know it's tempting, it's in a nice little order in that, but we work with a third-party book called SimNet. You see that title right there. And it doesn't always play nice with Canvas, which is your class. So you cannot launch from here and you cannot launch from the gradebook, which is what you see up here. Okay, you have to go through the modules. All right. If you want to look at the syllabus, you can click right here on syllabus page and it will tell you exactly what all's in the course. But the one thing I want to point out is how things are broken down. Everything will be listed as 100 points, but everything doesn't count the same. Quizzes are 20% of your grade, projects 25, your exam 10%. Your final exam, I don't want you to go getting all worried about it, that if you blow the final exam, you ruined all your work. No, it's a very small thing. People get exam anxiety. Don't sweat it. It's going to be a small portion of your grade. Your biggest work is your assignments and chapter. That's 30% of your grade. The work you actually do, you're going to get the credit for it because that's what you're doing. Okay? So that tells you the breakdown. You'll also know it's very balanced. Do all the work. Okay? Don't try to play the point game. Do all the work. And if you have questions, ask me. Okay? I'll tell you right now, I'm as honest as I am ugly. So I will give you honest answers. And I always ask that you give me honest answers too. All right? If I ask you a question, just answer, truthfully. Best way. Then we don't have to worry about a thing. I'm going to go back to the home page. And if during any of this you have questions, feel free to unmute that mic, ask a question, drop it in the chat box. That's why you see me looking back and forth. I have a second screen looking for things, or raise your hand and I'll try to catch it there. You don't have to wait till the end. Okay. The class instructions and welcome email, I sent those to you on Sunday. I do apologize that it didn't come out till Sunday, but that's when they gave me the list of everybody. All right. This is what's going to happen week by week. Okay, this week. You're going to have these two items, the online honor pledge and the introduce yourself. Those are due tonight by midnight so that you get attendance today. I'm going to go through those here in just a minute. Then Wednesday, you need one post in the discussion. That's going to be on AI. And then by Sunday at midnight, you have these two items here. Okay. Now, when you look over here on week 4, you're going to see 4 items down here. Don't panic. Okay. Sometimes people look ahead and they get all nervous. In chapter 3, there's like 3 items is all that I assign out of there, 3 questions, and the same thing with chapter 4. Okay. There's only a couple of questions in there. And when you see the way the questions are, just because it says chapter, that just means there's a couple of items in there and you have to go into the chapter to get them. So the workload really doesn't change. So if you're looking ahead, don't panic. All right. So here we go. So we're going to click in here onto the modules, and up at the very top, up in the resources, that's where you figured out how to connect. And if you had questions about how to get attendance, if you clicked on this, it showed you some instructions on how to do it. Some people went through and followed or figured it out on their own. But I tried to provide help up here. If somebody has a question, I'll throw the instructions up in here that I showed them how to do it and that. If you ever need to get a hold of me and you're not sure, you can click on this office and instructor thing and you'll see my email address or the number to text me on. That text number does not accept pictures. Okay, so if you want to send a screenshot, email it to me. Okay, otherwise I won't see it. That number lets me send things to everybody and things like that, but it does not allow pictures. Okay. All right, so for the first day of class, I threw the help in there too, just in case people didn't see it. And you'll notice your week 1 is grayed out. You can't get to it. Okay, so nothing pops up for me in the self-evaluation for week 1. Okay. Self-evaluation for week 1, that is actually under week 2. You cannot get into week 2 until next week. Okay. So what happens is each week you'll do an evaluation for the week prior. So in week 2, you evaluate week 1. Okay. So these will not, anything past week 1, these will open every Monday. So Monday, right after midnight, all of week 2 will open up. And then Monday on week 3, all of that will open up. Okay. So that's a good question. Now, so we're here. Week 1 is on, it won't open up here until we come in here to the online honor pledge. You say take the quiz. Now, question 1, what it's basically saying is you're doing your own work. Okay, you're not paying somebody else to do it for you. So you say, I agree. All of this information here, as complicated as it sounds, I'll sum it up for you. SimNet requires you to use a PC or a Mac or a Chromebook. Okay. The simulator does not run on phones. Okay. It does not like the iOS operating system or the Android operating system. So that's why you are not able to use a phone. It will act like it's going to run, but it won't. Okay. So don't try to run the chapters on the phone or the quizzes on a phone. It doesn't work. Okay. If you have an iPad, not an Android tablet. Again, the Android operating system has issues. If you have an iPad, use a keyboard. It can be a Bluetooth keyboard or it can be an attached keyboard, but you will need either a mouse or that touchpad. And the reason why you're going to need that separate, other than using the on-screen one, the on-screen one is going to take up too much screen space, and you're going to have to do a left and a mouse click and function keys, and that on-screen keyboard is going to be very difficult to maneuver. Okay, so what you're saying is you understand that you will need a Mac or a PC or a Chromebook. So you agreed to that and submit that. Those two questions. Okay, then that one is done. Go back to the modules, come back down, and then the introduce yourself. Okay, the introduce yourself is basically that. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You scroll down, click on the green button that says reply, and I'm going to just put this is my intro. You will actually type in your information, and then you will click reply. And you can read what everybody else has done. I've gone through it and I've read everybody's, and it's pretty amazing how everybody does this. Yes, and Matt, I'm going to address that in just a few minutes. And Adrian, live sessions are only Mondays at 7 p.m. Okay. And again, they are not mandatory, but I strongly recommend you come to the live one if possible so you can ask questions like this. And otherwise, please watch the recordings. It will answer a lot of questions, okay? And for Matt, yes, the assignments open on Monday, right after midnight, so 12:01 a.m. They open. As soon as they open, you are welcome to do every single assignment for the week, okay? And I will take care of the attendance for you. Okay, if you complete everything, send me a message and say, I believe I've completed everything, and I will check and verify it. And I will tell you this, you have completed everything for the week. You will see messages and texts for the class, but you are finished. Okay, because if you see a text or an email that begins with the word class, that means it is going to everyone. And I don't want you to think that you've missed something if I've already told you you are finished for the week. All right, everybody got that? Yes, yes. So if I've told you you're finished for the week and you see something that comes across that says class, that means it's going to everybody else and you are good for the week. Okay, good. Okay, so once you have answered this, introduce yourself. If you go back to the modules, you will see that your week one is now unlocked. Okay. And you are good to work. Week two, it will still be locked. You'll see that. And now it says will unlock January 12th, which is next week. All right. Okay. So now that we have that, let's take a look at this discussion question here. Now this is due Wednesday. Okay. And we've all heard about AI. AI's this, AI's that. Well, I could tell you this, AI is very uh, unpredictable. Okay, I can send the same set of commands over and over and over, and I'll continuously get different responses. It changes, and that's the way AI is supposed to be. It's not necessarily going to give you the same response back. So you have to be very careful when utilizing AI, and you have to be in command of it and be weary of the response. So you have to know what is a good response back. So if you're trying to use AI in other classes, understand that just because you answer or ask it something and you get a response does not mean that response works for that class. Read the response and make sure it works. Okay. But what I want to know is, how do you think it can influence your career? So here's all the careers listed. You don't have to answer for all of them, but for yours. So how do you think AI is going to impact your career? What do you think? Okay. And so if you click here on this references thing, you're going to see this article, and you're going to find all the careers, and you can look at some of these to see how they think it's going to affect your career. And some of them are pretty interesting. And some of them, yeah, they're okay. But it's pretty interesting the way they think it might affect your career, especially welders, the American Welding Society, how it's possibly going to affect them, things like that. So some of the places that have put out these articles, just click on those. It goes to a website where you can read it and take a look at it. So feel free to take a look at those before you answer. Now, when you're in the discussion, okay, I want you to take a look at this. Post 2 times for full points. Your first post, okay, is worth 40 points. Okay. Now, before somebody asks, I'm not doing a word count. Okay. It'll tell me how many words you did. That's not the point. I want you to give me a good answer. I want to know what you think. Okay. I want to know your real answer. If I ask you this question, what do you think AI is going to do to your career? I want to hear your answer as though you were talking to me. So I want you to come down here and you click reply. And when you do, it's going to open up the box and you type it in here. Okay. And then once you do that, you'll see other people's responses. You're not going to see them until you respond. Now, I don't want people just putting in their name, clicking reply so you can see what everybody else did. Okay. Don't go doing that. I want your words. I want to know what you think. It's not necessarily a right or wrong answer. It's your opinion, your answer. Okay. Your thoughts matter. Then once you've done that, and if I'm going to put in demo just to see if anybody has responded. I don't know if they have yet. We'll find out. Yes, some people have. For your second reply, as it does say, your second reply is worth 60 points. So you're going to find another student, read what they said, and you're going to click reply under them and respond based on what they said. And you're going to type, and click reply. When I go through and grade, you may have only replied one time. Okay? And if you see a grade of 40, don't panic. My favorite phrase, don't panic. I will put the grade of 40 and I'll say, great post. Don't forget to post a second time. I know you're not finished. And I'm just reminding you, don't forget to come back. And I will check back through and see when you post again. And when you post again, I will change that 40 to 100. Okay, everybody got that? I know you're not finished if you just post one time. Now, if it's getting close to Sunday and you still haven't posted that second time, I'm going to send you a reminder. Hey, don't forget to go back and post that second time. I want you to get the full points. So this is why you'll need to check those emails and check those text messages to make sure you see the messages. All right? Okay. So we're going to go back here. So the first time you post in that discussion, Wednesday night. And the reason why you do that, we take attendance Thursday. Okay? And Thursday night at midnight, you have to have something completed. This discussion, one post in the discussion will get you attendance Thursday night. Everybody got that? Yes? All right. Now, right here where it says connect your book and complete chapters, if you click on that, what I'm about to go over, I have step-by-step instructions in case you need extra reminders. So I've got step-by-step here, but I'm going to show you how to do it because how many of us are visual learners? I think I'm pretty much a visual learner. If I see somebody do it, it's a little bit easier. So I'm going to show you how to connect your book. And that is you come to your first chapter here and you're going to click on it. And it's going to go here and you're going to get this screen. And it should already be checked that says no, create new account. And your name should already be filled in. And where it says email, put in your student email. So I'm going to type in my student email. Just like that. And then you say create account. And what that's going to do is it's going to connect your Canvas account over to your SimNet account. Okay? And you only have to do that the first time. Okay? Now I'm just going to close that tab and I'm going to go back to the home page. So I can show you if you come back into the modules and we're going to go back down here and I'm going to go back to that same chapter again. And when I click on it, my book should be connected and I go straight there. So only that first time do you ever have to do anything. Okay. And I have a hand raised. Winella, do you have a question or was your hand just up because you were in agreement?
Oh, it was just an agreement.
Okay, cool. I'm okay with that. Let me just lower your hand right there. There we go. Okay, awesome. So you all are the first ones in our new book. So this is the same book that we used last month, only this one has been updated. Uh, Microsoft has retired uh, the old Windows, and so we are no longer teaching that at all. We were teaching both versions. And so we are no longer teaching that. So the book has been updated. So along with that, I've stripped out a lot of filler that we used to have to scroll through. Okay. So what you see here is this is the overview, kind of the introduction into Windows. And you'll see right here on the left-hand side, I just highlighted it in blue. It says 0% complete 0/13. So there's 13 items in this chapter to do. Okay. And if we scroll down, you'll see all 13 items. Now, the good thing about doing it this way now, There used to be a whole bunch of stuff that you had to skip and go around, and you don't have to do that anymore. Now you just go and do these 13 items. Okay, and you can start it by saying take lesson, or you can come over here, which is my preferred way, and just click on the first item. And it's going to take you directly into the book. Okay, now some things to point out. In the upper right-hand corner, this little blue arrow in the box turns blue when I get over to it. That will take you back to the page we were just on. Okay. Now this tells you all about what we're going to do, and you can read through that if you like. Okay. And so that's all about what we are going to do. Now, there are some more things that you can try on your own in here, and you're welcome to do that. What we are going to concentrate on are these three boxes that will appear in every section, okay? Now, you do not have to do all three of these. The red one, or the blue one, I'm looking right at the blue one, calling it red. The blue one and the red one are optional. They are there to help you, but they're not required. The blue one will show a video of what it wants you to do. The red one will walk you through step by step of what it wants you to do. And then the green one, it wants you to do the task from start to finish with almost no help whatsoever. Okay, so we're going to start off by clicking the blue one. And what you see in front of you is this big play button here. And if you notice, we are in the updated version of Windows that it runs. You're in a simulator, remember, so you're not on the actual one on your system. And so when we click play, it's going to run a video. So you saw that it starts moving around and it's going to tell you that it wants you to come over here and click this and blah, blah, blah. So it's going to show you this. And if you watch it all the way to the end, a little box or a little check will appear in this box. And once it's finished, you can either continue or you can say exit. And if you exit, you will come back to the screen and there would be a check mark here. Okay. And then you could go to the guide me and it'll ask you to do things in the same order, but you're going to do them. It says click the start button, and this is the start button here. And it says that's correct, then do next. And it says click on Word. So you find Word and you click, and it says you've completed the guide me, so you close it. And you can see I have a check mark because I finished this one. And then you go to let me try. Now it says launch Word from the start menu. So now you would have to know, go to start, find Word, click on that, and it says you've completed it. So I say close. Okay, if I would leave at this point by going to the exit, it says, are you sure? Yes. You would see that I finished the first item. I've got a check mark here under completed. At the top, it says 8% complete. I've got 1 out of 13. Okay, as soon as you complete one item, it is saved. You don't have to worry about your internet dropping, electric going out, your battery going dead. It saves as you go. You already have a grade. If I close this screen and go to my grades, you will see under my overview right here, I have a 7.69%. I have a grade already. Now that is not my final grade. If I go back to the modules. Scroll back down and go to that chapter. I am ready to go again. You can start and stop chapters as often as you like. Okay, does everybody got that? You can start and stop as often as you like. You do not have to sit behind this computer all at one time. So you can give yourself breaks. Okay? Now, a chapter typically takes most students about 30 minutes to 40 minutes. If you take longer or less time, that's okay. And there's a reason for this. We're going to go to number 2 here. Okay. Now, some people absolutely hate the video. They don't like the voice that's used. It goes too slow. They don't like it. So if that's the case, don't use it. You don't have to. Some people will jump straight to the let me try, and that's fine. Because if you get here and you don't know what to do, there's this little button over here that says show hint. Click on that, and sometimes it will give you enough help to do it. Okay. So how do you read this? Well, you have to know a little bit about the programs. This big area at the top up here, that's called the ribbon. Okay. I'll be honest with you. I was in my 40s before I knew that was called the ribbon. Had no idea. Systems analyst for 20 years, didn't know it was called the ribbon. We never called it that. Apparently, it was a thing that Microsoft called, and in real life, never called it the ribbon. In this class, this book will call it the ribbon. Okay. It's this big wide area all the way across, and I guess it resembles a ribbon on a package that Microsoft did not buy me for Christmas. Okay. But that's what that is. Okay. But see where it says File tab? Up here, these little areas here, File, Home, Insert, Draw, Design, those are tabs. They used to actually look like little square tabs that were on folders from years ago, but they don't quite look like that anymore, but they still have the name. So when it tells you it's on File tab, look at the top. It will be up here, okay? So if it tells you it's in a group, that would be clipboard, font, paragraph, styles. These names at the bottom, those are groups. If it tells you it's in a launcher, that's what this little square arrow is in the corner. Those are launchers. So that's how it will tell you where an item is. So it's in the File tab. So we click File tab, and then it says it is under Open. So we click Open, and then it would tell us to go to the next item. And then it says Open the SPA newsletter. So we would find Open SPA newsletter in the Documents folders. So we would have to find the Documents folders, which is here, and we are looking for the SPA newsletter in the OneDrive folder. So we are in OneDrive, Documents, SPA newsletter. So even if you don't know what to do, you can follow what it says. Okay. Now where it says display the open page and backstage view, click that hint, and it's telling you, go to File, Open, click the Spa Newsletter document on the right side of the page. So find it under Today. There it is. And then close. So even not knowing necessarily what to do, if you pay attention to the directions, you can do it. You can do these in any order, or you can go back to them. Once you finish one of these, you could go back to the menu or click this arrow and go to the next one. If you do to one of these and you're like, I have no idea, you can go back to the Guide Me or the Show Me on the right-hand side. You don't have to get out of the screen. Just click on that and it'll go backwards. And you go, oh, I didn't want the video. I meant Guide Me. Click there. Is everybody good with this? Yes? Okay. So you can move around and choose these. You can do this over and over if you need to. If you are stuck on one of these, this is what I want you to do. Up here in the corner, right there, I just highlighted. See where it says skill 3 of 13? I want you to text me and tell me I am in the intro chapter or whatever chapter you're on. I'm on skill 3 of 13 and I cannot figure this out. Send that to me, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to come over to the right arrow, click that, and go to the next one. The next item is not necessarily more difficult, it's just different. Don't sit there and just bang your head on something and get frustrated, okay? Go to the next item. All right. Okay, so let's go back to the modules. I think we got one more thing to go over, and that's the quiz. Okay, I'll click on the quiz. When you get to this screen, you'll say take exam. It calls all quizzes exams. Don't worry, it's not an exam. You click on that. You have to say you agree that you complied. Sounds very scary. Okay. And then it'll say check for new updates to Office. Now, if you cannot remember how to do this, I wanted to give you hints. Unfortunately, hints don't work the way we want to if you should get this incorrect. Look right here. There is a hint right there. If you should accidentally get it incorrect, I want you to pull out that cell phone, the one that you are making payments on forever. Don't take a selfie. We are all beautiful and we don't need any more photos of ourselves. I want you to take a picture of this, okay? And then follow the instructions where it says click File tab, click Account, click Update Options, and Update Now. So let's see what happens if we follow those instructions. File tab, Account, and then we are looking for, where is it? I'm not seeing it on my screen. Update options, there we go, and update now. And it will tell you you answered correctly, and then say continue. Okay. You have 5 attempts for each question. Okay. It is not timed. Take your time. If you get something incorrect, don't get mad, hit the keyboard and miss that hint. All right. Any questions on that? Everybody good on the quiz? All right. Okay. Other thing that's in the modules that will help you, if you are using a Mac and you can't get some of the keys to work, if you click under the resources up there, here is some hint on using a Mac, on using those function keys. That will tell you how to use those in case you don't know how. There is also a guide in here for a Chromebook because it can be a little more awkward on using function keys when we get into those. That will tell you how to do those as well. So if you have either one of those machines, and just for transparency, I am running the class on a Mac, and I do have the other machines here as well. So in case somebody has issues with those. Okay. Any other questions that I can help with before we break for the night? Anything I can go over um, as far as in completing things, assignments, anything like that? Everybody good? All right. Cool fish on the wall, by the way, Kevin. I like that. All
Thank you.
right. So that is everything. The big thing tonight, please make sure you get both those assignments in. You have to have both of those in to unlock your course and for that attendance. Then tomorrow, there isn't necessarily anything due, but that's a great way to keep things up and keep things going. I will send reminders out to the class. Don't forget this is coming due, et cetera, et cetera. Uh, those are there just so that to keep the entire class that's what's coming up, etc. Remember, if it says class, it is going to everybody. Doesn't necessarily mean you have missed something. All right, that is it. Please feel free if it's 2 o'clock in the morning to send an email or text. I will check it as soon as I am available. Don't be surprised if I am up at that time. You will get an email back. My texter will not let the text go out that late, but emails can. I am a notorious gamer. My entire family is. So yeah, we might be having a gaming session, so I might respond back that late. So if it's on an email. So there you go. Y'all have a great week. Welcome to the class. And, let me know if I can do anything for you. Y'all have a great night.